Movie buffs, welcome back to the Movie Bay. This is D. In today's video, we're going to do an actor spotlight, and we're going to take a look at 15 movies from William Forsythe. Now, William Forsythe, he was never really that leading man. He was always a good supporting actor. In a couple movies, he was even a co-actor, like the co-lead in the movie. But he's always been like in that supporting role. So not really a big household name, but movie buffs like us, we know who William Forsythe is. Even if you don't know him by name, you'll know who I'm talking about. So without further ado, let's dive in. We're going to take a look at 15 movies from William Forsythe, a definite underrated talent. For the caliber of movies he did, I wouldn't say he was underrated, but I think he was underrated in the sense where he wasn't put into bigger films and bigger roles. That's what I mean by underrated for William Forsythe. So let's dive in. Number 15, it came out in 1992, American Me. American Me is a fantastic movie. I did this on 10 prison movies, and this was in that list. This was a fantastic take on the prison system, but from the Hispanic point of view. This is one of the few movies that shows prison life from the Hispanic point of view. In the American penal system, Black people and Hispanic people make up the lion's share. Now, I'm not getting into statistics or causes or anything like that, but that is the truth. They make up the lion's share of the population. So it was good to see a prison movie from that perspective. Not saying it's a good thing. It was good to see a movie from that perspective. And there's another one called Blood In, Blood Out. That's to me, that's the quintessential prison movie. But that really shows the movie from of the Hispanic perspective, but also the different factions. You got the blacks, the Aryans, which was the whites who run the yard in the prison. So that was a little bit different. This was more focused. So American Me is not only a brilliant movie, just great acting from all parties involved, a fantastic movie, and not just a good prison movie. This is a good movie. This is a real prison movie, though. I'm letting you know now. This, like Blood In, Blood Out, this, and a handful of others, those are real prison movies. You got a lot of B-rated prison movies. Nah, this is the real deal right here. American Me. Next up, we have 1984's Once Upon a Time in America. Look at how young Robert De Niro is. Once Upon a Time in America, and this movie is right up Forsythe alley. These are the type of roles. He doesn't really do good guy. He does a lot of like criminal bosses, organized crime, gangster. He's big into the gangster scene. He's done cop a few times. He does that. You don't really see him in you don't really see him breaking away from either criminal or cop. And what I mean by cop, he usually does like FBI or special agent, something like that. So yeah, Once Upon a Time in America, fantastic movie, a great watch. This is a little bit on the long side, so is American Me. You might want to commit a little bit of time if you want to watch these. Fantastic films. Next up, we got William Forsythe. This one here is The Rock. We all know what this is all about. He played a FBI special agent, a field agent. Didn't have a terribly big role, but big enough. Next up, we have Deuce Bigalow, male gigolo. He had a small part in that. And The Rock was 1996. Deuce Bigalow is 1999. 88 Minutes came out in 2007. Al Pacino. I think this is Al Pacino, and I think this is Carl Urban in this one too. So yeah, pretty good movie. No, Carl Urban? Yeah, he was in that. Yep. Let's see. Freedom Land. Mr. Forsythe had a role in this. Freedom Land came out in 2006. Let's see here. He was this is one of the larger roles he had. He was actually the co-star in this movie. And we got 1991's Out for Justice. This is the movie where I really started paying attention to William Forsythe. I really thought he was a fantastic bad guy in this movie. He does bad guy very well. He did a great job in this movie. I mean, he really did a good job in this movie. Complete psychopath. Great movie. Hey, anybody seen Richie? Anybody seen Richie? It's so many great lines in this movie. Seagal did a fantastic job in this movie too. This is early Seagal. I think this is like maybe in his career, I want to say like 4 movies in. So he was like really riding high, maybe 4 or 5 movies in. I don't even know if it's that many. It might be 3 or 4 in, but early in his career. That's when Seagal was at his best, early in his career. Next up we have where he played a cop in this one too. And this one is 1999's Blue Streak with Martin Lawrence and Luke, what's his name? Luke, I forget the guy's name. Anyway, Martin Lawrence was pretty much the star of the movie, but William Forsythe, again, was a cop. Fantastic movie. Very, 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 very funny. He was also in 1990's Dick Tracy. And a nod to this movie, the special effects, well, they was all practical, but the makeup that they did, the prosthetic makeup they did for this movie was phenomenal, ahead of its time, and it looks good today. A lot of that face work they did in this movie looks good and it holds up today. We got another one here. We have 2019's Cold Pursuit with Liam Neeson. I think he had a good role, and it wasn't a big role, but this was William Forsythe in all his glory in this movie. I'm trying to tell you. And that is 2007's Rob Zombie's Halloween. Yo, he played the stepdad. And if you've seen this movie, you know he was scumbag. He was, oh man, I'm not going to say what he said because, you know, it's YouTube, but yo, he had some lines in there the way he was coming at his family. It was crazy. William Forsythe did a good job in this movie. Again, it was a very short role, but you really felt how scummy he was. Next up, we got 1987's Raising Arizona. Yeah, Raising Arizona. You got a young Nicky Cage in this one, too. Next up, we have 2005's The Devil's Rejects. The Devil's Rejects. And we have one that's very underrated. This is a hood movie, a very low-budget hood movie, but I think it was a really good hood movie. It was low budget. A lot of the acting was terrible, but this movie, I know you're like, yo, how can you say that the budget was low and the acting was at points terrible, but I don't know. This is a good hood movie. I come back and watch this every so often. Again, it's not the best hood movie in my collection. I got a lot of them, but this is one that I constantly go back to, and that's Blue Hill Ave. Blue Hill Avenue. I just call it Blue Hill Ave. A fantastic hood movie. I can't tell you. If you watch, some of you might say, oh, but it's good. It really is. It had a great story to it. I think that's probably what it was. The overarching story to the movie was really good overall, despite the poor acting and the low budget. Next up, we got, last but not least, we have 2002's City by the Sea. This was a really good movie right here. I really enjoyed this movie. Fantastic. So, guys, that is 15 movies from William Forsythe, an underrated actor, a Hollywood spotlight on Mr. William Forsythe. That's 15 of his films. And there's plenty more out there with William Forsythe. I would like to get more, but that's what I got for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.